President Donald Trump is in the middle of taking over Washington, D.C. I kid you not. So now, on Sunday, first he put out a post while he was being driven to his golf club in Virginia. He saw some unhoused people, and that made him very angry. Uh, and so he put out this post saying that homeless people need to get out immediately. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you got to go. If you're homeless and you're in Washington, D.C., you got to go, man. You either go voluntarily or we are going to kick you out. He said the homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. Oh, okay. So, look, it is your classic, I don't want to see the homeless people near me thing. That, honestly, you see that from both parties. To be fair, and I have talked about how there are Democrats that have taken this approach as well. Gavin Newsom, it's a great example of that. Okay. Now, afterwards, and I think I've got the image here. Afterwards, he puts this out. This was from this morning. DC will be liberated today. Crime, savagery, filth, and scum will disappear. Wow. Okay. I will make our capital great again. The days of ruthlessly killing or hurting innocent people are over. I quickly fixed the border. 0 illegals in the last 3 months. DC is next. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so, this is the government takeover of Washington, D.C. Oh, boy. So now, look, here's the thing about that. Okay, we're talking about the unhoused, which is what I think part of what triggered this. The other part was big balls getting jumped in D.C. Now, look, Trump's president of the United States, okay? Now, as president of the United States, you could push for real solutions, right, in order to help homeless people, to stop homelessness, right? But he's not going to do that, of course. He instead just wants to get them out of sight, out of mind. Both sides do this. And again, I mentioned Gavin Newsom clearing out homeless encampments. Well, now that's what they're doing in Washington, D.C. now. That is instead of building affordable housing. Okay? And look, Trump has brought out the cops to do it and has federalized the D.C. Metro Police. Okay? So now, Trump's original post, by the way, was illustrated with 4 different photographs showing the dire conditions of Washington, D.C. when it comes to homelessness, right? Now, this is apparently taken all from the president's motorcade along the route from the White House to his golf course. I mean, that's just quintessential America right now. That's what that is. Quintessentially American, okay? Yes, a rich person in his fancy motorcade getting all upset because he saw a couple of homeless people on his way to his fancy golf course. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with, like, feeling empathy. It's, oh, these damn homeless people. Oh, I hate them. God damn it. And that's it. 2 of the images show 10 tents pitched on the grass on a highway on-ramp just over a mile from the White House. The 3rd image showed a single person sleeping on the steps of the American Institute of Pharmacy building on Constitution Avenue. The 4th showed his motorcade passing a very small amount of roadside trash on the East Street Expressway near the Kennedy Center. Oh, wow. Oh, what? Oh, horrible.
Oh, no.
Now, Trump's post also promoted a previously announced news conference on Monday that had happened earlier in which he had promised will essentially stop violent crime in the Capital District. How would he do that? Nothing. There's no explanation. In fact, there's no evidence that there is violent crime, a violent crime epidemic in Washington, D.C. In a subsequent post, he said that the news conference at 10 a.m. on Monday will not only involve ending crime, murder, and death in our nation's capital, but will also be about cleanliness. Cleanliness. Now, of course, look, you're not going to be shocked to see that he is lying about this epidemic of crime and homelessness in our nation's capital. According to the Community Partnership, which works to prevent homelessness in D.C., On any given night, there are about 800 unsheltered persons sleeping outdoors in the city of about 700,000 people. A further 3,275 people use the emergency shelters in Washington, and about 1,065 people are in transitional housing facilities. Now, that said, okay, you still have a decent amount of homeless people, people who are unhoused, and you have people that cannot get that shelter, cannot get into shelters. That's because the shelter system in DC is already incredibly stretched. All right. And look, I still think that 800 people who are sleeping outdoors, that's too many, right? But that is a result of lack of affordable housing. And so that's a big problem. Now, that is something that, of course, Congress could try to do something about. But the reality is, politicians, all they want to do in this day and age is to punish unhoused people instead of actually help them, because, we can't help them. Well, why not? It's not like we can't afford to help them, right? And what's the best way to help homeless people? To give them homes, give them a place to stay. That's really it. Of course, can't do that because that would be socialism, and it would be rewarding bad behavior. Of course, that's what they do here. Okay, that's their excuse. Is, well, we can't help people because that means that we're going to be rewarding bad behavior, bro. You know that we reward bad behavior all the time. I mean, Trump is. He's a 34 felony count criminal and a rapist. Okay. Yes, I'm going to say that because it's true. Found liable for sexual abuse. Okay. Sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. And so all of that. And he got elevated from that bad behavior to becoming the president of the United States. So yes, we absolutely reward terrible behavior, the most terrible behavior. I mean, the richest people in this country couldn't be that rich, can't be a billionaire without stepping over the corpses of thousands of people across the globe. It's just impossible. That's the reality of the situation. But anyway, Trump has federalized law enforcement in DC in order to do this. And look, I think in order to also turn DC police into his own police force, to his own little private army. He ordered Pam Bondi earlier today to oversee the federal takeover of the Metropolitan Police Force, and also has decided to put National Guard troops in the Capitol. Now he claims, it's fight crime, but crime is actually at a 30-year low. So what crime are you fighting? The non-existent crime in Trump's head. That's what's going on here. Data collected by the Metropolitan Police Department, released back in January by the federal government, showed that violent crime in Washington, D.C. in 2024 was actually down 35% from 2023. Look, again, you can't argue that, there wasn't a spike from COVID. There was a crime spike all across the country, D.C. and New York, etc., right? Also in big cities all across the country, red states, blue states, it doesn't matter. There was crime, yes, that increased, but we are also, though, at a 30-year low when it comes to crime. A 30-year low. But again, you try to explain that to right-wingers and some, by the way, some liberals, all right? And they're like,
just forget about the evidence.
No, crime. It's terrible. That's why we need more cops. That's why we need more police. That's why we need tough on crime laws. Okay, that's why. That's why we gotta start punishing people more. Doesn't do anything. It doesn't. All the broken windows policing and massive police budgets haven't eliminated crime because it doesn't get to the root of why crime exists. Okay. And it's, again, societal issues, poverty. Okay, that's and again, they're not addressing any of these root causes of crime. They're just punishing the outcomes. Okay, the results. But look, here's the thing. Okay, Facts don't matter. Reality doesn't matter. What Trump is doing is just trying to get more power. Again, literally ordering federal troops to patrol DC. And again, that's right after Big Balls gets jumped. In fact, he's using that as an excuse, okay, to impose direct control on DC, on the Capitol. First the police, and now just, taking it over completely. In fact, Trump told reporters on Wednesday that the White House, and last Wednesday, they're looking into the possibility of legislation to overturn Washington, D.C.'s self-rule so that he can take it over directly. So that's what that is. I mean, this is a BS excuse, of course, in order to consolidate his own power, which I think should be very concerning for everyone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you become a member on our YouTube page, you become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.